Most of us do really well with organization and structure in our lives. And I'm going to go over a few things that help with crafting this lifestyle. Things that I use to help me build these daily goals into everything I do. The first principle is first things first. In other words, nothing I do or get involved in is more important than these 10 goals. These 10 goals are primary. These 10 goals are the most important things I do every day. That means nothing else I'm doing that day is more important than those 10 goals. That means if I'm traveling, that's not more important than these 10 goals. That means if I have some event to go to, that's not more important than these goals. That means if there's some crisis, that's not more important than these goals. These goals are primary, which means I let nothing going on get in the way of accomplishing these goals. These goals are my fundamental principles for being a productive, useful human being on this planet. Nothing is more important than that. This can be challenging though, because the mind loves to go off. In my mind, you can see, it loves to go off on tangents. It loves to go all in on things. It loves to neglect everything else at the expense of one thing. For example, I went off on the work tangent a lot in my life. I've worked so much that I didn't make time to do other things. At various points, I've worked so much I didn't have time for exercise. I didn't have time to hardly do anything else besides go to work. And then my bad habits, then that'd be the only thing I'd make time for besides going to work. I wouldn't take time to build my relationships with people. I wouldn't take time to do about half of these goals. And now that was throughout most of my life as an adult. Today, I don't let work get in the way of doing the rest of these goals. If I'm traveling, sometimes it takes a little bit different execution of the goals than it does on a daily basis when I'm at home, and that makes things fun. If I'm traveling, things like exercise can be an interesting challenge when I don't have all the resources I have at home. When there's something like a crisis, I have a friend, he's in hospice right now, and you could say at various points his health has been somewhat of a crisis. We've went to visit him, and when I have a family crisis, various family members have problems and have things they have to deal with. It doesn't eliminate my need to do these 10 goals every day. In fact, these 10 goals are more important than ever in the middle of something that looks really pressing. If you've seen people in their lives, they seem like they just move from one disaster to another. When you implement these 10 goals, you don't have to be like that. The discipline is seeing that these 10 goals are essential to happiness, and there's nothing worth working for more than happiness. There's nothing worth letting your happiness go over. There's nothing that's worth sacrificing the things that matter over. And yet the mind constantly, even to me today, still tries to pitch things that are so important. These videos are so important. This game is so important. Or this time with your family, this family crisis is so important. Nothing's more important than these 10 goals. Ever. Even you could say, the mind loves to throw things out. What about a life and death situation? Usually, from my experience with life and death situations as a police officer and in my personal life, they don't take very long usually. What if you get stuck in the hospital? You do what you can with your limitations. Yes, if you're rigged up in a hospital bed, you might not be able to exercise. That doesn't mean you don't go back to exercising as soon as it's possible. You can still do all 9 of the other goals in a hospital bed just fine. So I'm grateful today that I have the chance to see that nothing is more important than doing these 10 goals every day. So thanks for watching this. and I hope you're enjoying it. I'd love to have your feedback. I'm curious as to what you think of it.